All right, Nick, let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens have made a lot of really great moves this offseason, but I think one thing in particular is going to really push them ahead. And we're going to talk about it today because, Nick, we love talking about teams that make really smart moves. And I think the Ravens have done just that.
Miles, I agree with you 100%. I think the Ravens are geared up to have a fantastic 2023 campaign with what they've done this offseason. But before we get into the future, let's take a step back and look at the past. And that leads me to my question today for Ravens fans to answer in the comment section below. Who is the greatest Ravens play caller in team history? There's a lot of interesting names to throw out there. There's been a lot of bad ones, but I think there's been a lot of great ones, especially on a Super Bowl run a few years ago. So whoever it is in the comment section below, give us your favorite, the best Ravens play caller of all time. All right, Miles, I'll throw it back to you now. What's the latest out of Baltimore?
Yeah, Nick, I think the Ravens have a history of great play callers. That switch to Jim Caldwell was a very, very crucial one, obviously, made big Super Bowl implications. Now, I wonder if the switch from Greg Roman to Todd Monken can have a similar effect on this Ravens team, and they did it in an earlier time frame. They had a whole offseason to install Monken's offense, and it has looked better than advertised. Nick, I'm going to get into the article here about John Harbaugh's thoughts on Monken's offense. This is from NBC Sports. It says, quarterback Lamar Jackson has joked about throwing for 6,000 yards with Monken calling the plays. But Monken's new scheme is expected to enhance Baltimore's pass game, particularly with the club's new weapons like Odell Beckham Jr. and Zay Flowers. Last week, head coach John Harbaugh praised Monken for the way he implemented the X's and O's during the offseason program. He said, man, there's nothing like the real thing, right? Seeing Todd in real life is even better than the reports, I would say. Harbaugh said in the Thursday press conference, he said, he's a very good teacher. He does it in a very energetic kind of way, the way that we love to see around here. He's just very relatable, and he's also a very detailed coach, especially in the passing game. Ravens fans should love to hear that. But not just that, the protection, the run game, the quarterback reads, everything. He's been involved, very hands-on. Our coaches over the years have all been like that. I would argue that differently from that. I don't think Greg Roman was so involved in the pass game. There's evidence of that.
Yeah.
But he goes on to say, Todd is a unique in his way of doing it. You guys get a chance to see it. How can I describe it? You guys just watch it. What you see out there is what we see all the time. That's his personality. It's a great way to reach guys. So, Nick, basically, Todd Monken sounds like the real deal. He seems better than advertised, better than the reports. He says when you see it in person, it really is something to behold. I'm very excited about that, and I want to hear what you think, what this move to Monken and for this Ravens offense could do. But before I ask you, Nick, I want to let everyone know, stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear a word from our partner, and that is Neuro. They have a lot of great products to give you a quick and easy boost of energy. They'll take their mints or gum right before the show to give you this great, I'm giving Harbaugh's words here, high energy, hands-on Ravens content that you love. So stay tuned to the end of the video to hear more about Neuro and their products and to get your hands on our discount code. But all right, Nick, tell me, what do you think about Monken? What does this mean for the team?
So I think there's two big points that jumped out at me, and there's some other reports so far coming out of mini camps and OTAs that Lamar Jackson is having a great feel for the offense. He's more active, more engaged in the line of scrimmage in terms of calling protections and audibles and things like that. So that's obviously good. But when we were talking about the Ravens earlier this week, Miles, you brought up the fact there's been a lot of reports out of Ravens mini camps and OTA that Nelson Agholor, the new wide receiver addition, has been looking really good and really strong. And you know what we talked about? I said, listen, Nelson Agholor has been a bust everywhere he's been. Whether it was with the Eagles or the Patriots or wherever, this guy has stunk. We don't want to talk about this guy at all. But now I'm thinking to myself for a second, if Todd Monken can unlock Nelson Agholor, if Todd Monken can make Nelson Agholor look like a good receiver in his offense, oh my gosh, Miles, we're talking about one of the top offenses in the entire NFL, bar none, because Nelson Agholor just frankly stinks. I think he's a perfectly nice guy. I don't want to say too many mean things about him, but he has not been a good wide receiver at the professional level at all in his career. And this is a guy, according to all reports out of Ravens mini camps and OTAs, he's had a strong impression. Talking about Agholor here. If Monken can get something special or even remotely average out of Agholor, that speaks to how good of a coach he is. And that's nothing to compare what he's going to get out of guys like Bateman, Zay Flowers, and of course Beckham. And remember, Miles, we talked about this a lot last season during the Baltimore Ravens after their strong start. This is a team that, when healthy, they're as good as anybody in the AFC, right? We know the Chiefs are the top dog. We know they're the big guys. But listen, we talk about the Buffalo Bills. They're kind of on a little bit of a downslope. They're getting older. They're losing some guys. The Dolphins are great, but we don't know Tua, health issues there. The Jets, kind of a question mark with Rodgers. The Bengals, they're a great, good football team, but the Ravens kind of had their number. They should have beaten the Cincinnati Bengals in the wild card round, and that was with Huntley starting last year. So no matter how you look at the entire AFC, the Ravens are right in the thick of things if they can be healthy and if they can be explosive in the passing game. And everything we're hearing out of Ravens minicamps and OTAs, especially involving the receivers in the passing game, shows that this team will be absolutely deadly in that arena for 2023. Look, I know Lamar Jackson says he wants to throw for 6,000 yards. That's probably a bit of a stretch, but don't be surprised at all, Ravens fans, if this guy flirts with close to 5,000 yards before it's all said and done. I'm not kidding. What Monken has done so far this offseason is commendable, and I think he's building momentum for the regular season. Ravens fans should be extremely excited.
Nick, one final point about the Ravens' health. You bring up good point here. I think a lot of that was attributed to their being overworked in their strength and conditioning program. The Ravens did a complete overhaul of strength and conditioning program this offseason as well. Steve Saunders is now gone. So I think one more notch in the cap for Baltimore, making big moves to make them contenders this season.
All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.